Prez election gazetted. Why Ranil takes his time. Address from Aragalaya site. Ranil's silence worries many. As Ranil promotes his program, Sajith goes for name promotion. Constitutional crisis. What will Chandima say this time? Who are the happiest over Deshabandhu's fate? Former elections chief gives voice cuts. Chandima's undoing likely. Civil society members contract commission membership disease. Cat is out of Namal's bag. 3 new conditions to Ranil from Rajapaksa's. Is Basil taking Damika for a ride? Or is it intentional? 48 ministers, state ministers, govt, MPs discuss election strategy, their firm decision to support Ranil.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Prez election gazetted. Why Ranil takes his time. Address from Aragalaya site. According to the election chief, the 2024 presidential polls will be on 21st September. In addition to Sajith, AKD and Dilith, newly added to the list of candidates are Wijayadasa and Fonseca. But there is nothing so far from the government side. None has an idea what incumbent Ranil's idea is. SJB's Marikar and the lot say the Ranil they know will definitely not contest. Even the Rajapaksas are worried by his silence, although he has been telling the cabinet and at private discussions that he will. Mahinda waits for Ranil's decision to make the SLPP's one known. Not even at the Kadawatha rally, he uttered a word, although Prasanna got a resolution adopted that he should contest. When inquired, an economic advisor type said another international agreement will be signed in a few days to make it official the country is out of bankruptcy. After signing that, the president will declare his stand, says that advisor. So the announcement is likely on Friday or Saturday. Significant is the venue. He will speak from the Aragalaya site in front of the president's house. For that, a big campaign has been planned. Thereafter, he will go before the public at the Gal rally on the 27th. Government sources say his election campaign has already been finalised. Instead of the person called Ranil, the programme to rebuild the country will be marketed, as planned by foreign strategists. Keshal Jayasinghe's comment army is busy making observations that Ranil is very much in the game, although many thought that his days are over. For his part, Sajith is using his name as the brand to be promoted. A poster campaign in support of him commenced on 24th across the country. The poster, which says Dinana Sajith or a winning Sajith, is said to be an idea of his chief advisor Lucky. In the meantime, AKD is to have a major campaign throughout the country once the election is announced. Constitutional crisis. What will Chandima say this time? Ranil, as well as Public Security Minister Tiran, were in a sad mode after the Supreme Court issued an injunction that prevents Deshabandhu from functioning as the police chief. Ranil told the other that he will hold an emergency cabinet meeting to take a decision. So, ministers met and decided to respond within 2 days after studying the court order at length. It was claimed the order had a number of legal issues. Sajith and the opposition welcomed the court order against the IGP with open arms. In Parliament too, MPs commented on it, with Dayasiri saying he was happy with the order. Civil society members too took it up, with former elections Chief Deshapriya leading way. Giving voice cuts to the media, he said holding the presidential election under an acting IGP will not an issue for a country with a president appointed as a successor. There is also talk that many within the government have worked against Deshabandhu. The blame has gone to a top UNP man. He has telephoned and told his colleagues in the government that Deshabandhu was a man without any gratitude. I told the boss not to be in the bad books of Catholics by appearing for him, he said. But Ranil is of the firm stand that Parliament cannot be surpassed by anyone else, with the entire cabinet supporting him. They note the legislative authorities' refusal to accept a Supreme Court ruling that Parliament has no powers to inquire into former Chief Justice Shirani Bandaranayake. The BBC Sinhala service reported that under the headline, Clash Between Legislature and Judiciary, the then Deputy Speaker Chandima Weerakodi said Parliament was not bound to accept the court ruling. Weerakodi told BBC Sandashire that other institutions cannot decide about the powers of Parliament. The The government now awaits to see what he will say about the latest development. Anyway, a serious constitutional crisis is on the cards within days. Critic Ajith Jayasinghe says the legislature, executive and the judiciary should work with understanding to prevent a clash among them that will lead to anarchy. In Sri Lanka, such understanding seems unlikely. Each does not respect the others. Jayasinghe criticises the two civil society members in the Constitutional Council for having refrained from voting in the matter of Deshabandhu's appointment. They should either have supported or opposed it. Civil society members have contracted a disease. They want membership of so-called independent commissions, which have become white elephants. He also accuses Sajith of being irresponsible and encouraging sabotage. He awaits greedily for the election to happen. In the meantime, lawyers with the SJB are campaigning in social media that it will be an insult to the judiciary if anyone protests against its ruling on Deshabandhu. That's the nature of politics in Sri Lanka. Instead of solving issues, the aim is to gain profit by any means. Cat is out of Namal's bag. 3 new conditions to Ranil from Rajapaksas. Leader TV said just days ago that the Rajapaksas are eyeing the premiership. Now the cat is out of the bag. Namal says the SLPP should have the premiership candidacy if it is to support an outsider as the presidential candidate. He was speaking to the media following a meeting at Mahinda's place down Wijayarama Mawatha. Our presidential candidate should be able to strengthen the economy and should have a good understanding of our policies and our camp. We take decisions as a party, not as individuals, he stressed. According to him, Dhammika is at the top of their list of probable candidates, who also include cabinet members as well as entrepreneurs. On the night of the 23rd, Basil asked Dhammika to come and meet him. Mahinda too was there. But nothing about the candidacy was discussed. As Dhammika was leaving, Basil patted him on the back and told others that, "We brought one president to get debt repayment postponed. Now we are bringing another who can repay that debt." The next afternoon, some SLPP MPs went and saw Dhammika at his Kingsbury hotel. While having a shot and lunch, they inquired from him about what had happened. Dhammika told them that they only had a chit-chat. He said he won't take what Mahinda says seriously during such talk. He said he has been told personally not to take things said during conversations seriously. If anything wants to be done, he said he will tell it personally, said Dhammika. Answering another question, he said he was prepared to do whatever Mahinda says. Now, it is the latest from the Rajapaksa camp. "We told you days ago that a woman in the family has sent a message to Ranil that they would support him if Namal is given the PM candidacy. But that has worried Mahinda's friends. So, 3 new conditions have surfaced. When the election is announced, Ranil should declare Mahinda to be his PM. Also, a secretary aggregable to both sides should be appointed. Thirdly, a final decision is needed about the cabinet positions for the SLPP. Anyway, Ranil has been saying a PM would be considered after a general election only. 48 ministers, state ministers, GOVT MPs discuss election strategy. 30 ministers and state ministers, as well as 18 MPs in the government, met separately yesterday to discuss supporting Ranil. The first group met at Flower Road, Colombo, while the others had their meeting at a hotel at Thalawattugoda. They also discussed what to do if the Rajapaksas field Dhammika or any other candidate from the SLPP. All of them agreed that they should support Ranil over all other matters. Ranil's election campaign, political offices, appointment of polling agents and media aspects were discussed as well. They also touched upon obtaining support from other parties and raising public awareness on development and other projects of the government, political sources say. So, a force is very much on to prevent Ranil from turning back. It is the same for the opposition. None can turn back now. Their fate will be decided at the election. But our worry is if the economy will turn back. If that happens, it will be the end of everything else. That's it for today.
The Leader දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම